So after BIMSTEC, then after BRICS, next we have Eastern Economic Forum. All right. So it was the 6th summit of Eastern Economic Forum, which was established by the decree or declaration of the President of Russia in 2015. So we simply understand that in 2015 it was Vladimir Putin whose idea it was for the establishment of this forum. All right. So what is its aim? Its aim is to support the economic development of Russia's Far East and to expand international cooperation in the Asia Pacific region, a region which generally in our diplomatic reference we refer to as what? We refer to as Indo-Pacific region. We are going to talk about this part. What is Indo-Pacific? But before that, let's try and understand this particular summit. So basically, this particular summit is very important for Russia, all right, to maintain its economic ties between Russia's east and then the region what we generally refer to as Indo-Pacific, and for Russia, which is what? Which for them is Asia Pacific. So this summit actually, since the year 2015, it is scheduled every time each year at a city known as Vladivostok. Remember, I told you it is that city where Global Tiger Summit is also going to be scheduled this particular year. All right. So what one must remember about this? So one can remember that as far as India and Russia, both countries are concerned, we have India, for India and for our future industrialization, the very big concern is India's energy security. India's energy security. All right. Now, the government of India and our Prime Minister last year announced that India will achieve energy independence by which year? By the year of 2047. All right. So in 100th year of India's independence, India is going to achieve energy independence. All right. How come? Well, there are certain facts that now you must remember about. Like, let me just tell you about our plan for energy security. So what one must remember? First of all, one must remember that as far as our intended nationally determined contributions, what we generally refer to as what? INDCs. What are INDCs? INDCs are the voluntary, you can say, contributions or goals or objectives announced by any country which are the conference of parties within the framework of UNFCCC. So to achieve the goals of the prevention, the adaptation and mitigation of the climate change, in this particular UNFCCC convention, we have something called as Paris Agreement. All right. We have something called as Paris Agreement, which was announced way back in the year 2015 at the COP 21st summit of this particular convention. All right. So as far as India is concerned, in the just sphere of energy, what I can tell you is that India announced at this particular summit that we are going to develop something called as Green Energy Corridor. India is going to develop something called as Green Energy Corridor. What is the idea of Green Energy Corridor? The idea of Green Energy Corridor, it simply says to synergize the renewable energy with the conventional energy. Okay, to synergize the India's national power grid by making the combination of two types of energies. One which we generally refer to as RE, that is renewable energy, and second, that we generally refer to as the conventional form of energies. Now, what is this renewable energy and why I'm telling you this? Because do remember, in the year 2022, the government of India, an idea which it announced in the year 2015, that is COP21, the 21st meeting of UNFCCC, members of UNFCCC. This project was announced in 2015. In the year 2022, the government of India has launched the second phase. We have launched the second phase of this particular you can say plan or initiative. Okay, that's why it is important. Also, one can remember when it comes to INDCs, it was in the year 2015. Now, please pay attention just over here. In the year 2015, India said we are taking one short-term goal and a long-term goal. So goal number one is to have 175 gigawatts of installed renewable energy capacity by which year, guys? By the year of 2022. So by the year 2022, India is going to have installed renewable energy capacity of 175 gigawatts. Then the second, this is the short-term goals. So just remember this year. That's why this year is important. That's why this target is important and this project is important. Then the second is the long-term goal. India said that close to 392 gigawatts, close to 392 gigawatts of installed renewable energy India will have by which year? By the year of 2030. By the year of 2030. This will be the long-term goal. How much of renewable energy India has already installed? So just remember this, that India has installed a capacity of 157 gigawatts. And the fact which is being asked across all the competitive exams in last 6 to 8 months is that India has achieved what percent? India has achieved what percent of its renewable energy target when it comes to the long-term goal as part of its INDC. You have to remember that India has achieved 40% of the installed renewable energy target of the INDC that we announced in COP21 Paris, and that is 392 gigawatts by the year 2030. So iska 40% we have just installed. Also, how can you remember this? Just focus over here. 2022 we had 175 gigawatts ka target. Just we have to swap last two digits and we'll get the value of installed renewable energy in this particular year, which is 157 gigawatts. All right. Now, then what you have to remember beyond this. So this was the target. These were the targets that India announced at COP21. All right. Next, what you have to remember, that there is a ratchet principle in the Paris Agreement, okay, or which is also known as Green Climate Agreement. And as per that agreement, every nation will have to upgrade its INDCs when it comes to the goals and objectives. All right. India did that. Very fortunately, what we did, that at COP25, all right, at COP25, all right, at COP25, that is Conference of Parties, and its 25th meeting, which happened at Madrid, Spain. At Madrid, Spain, India enhanced the renewable energies target. So from 392 gigawatts, India increased this target to 450 gigawatts of installed renewable energy to be achieved by the year of 2030. All right. Then guys, COP26 was to happen just next year. So COP25 happened in which year? It was the year of 2019. All right. So just next year, that was the year of 2020, COP26 was scheduled. So what happened, that because of the arrival of pandemic, this particular summit got postponed. All right. And then it happened then COP26 happened in the year 2021, as I already told you. So at COP26, what India has said at COP26, guys, as part of its 5 promises, which we generally refer to as Panchamrit. Now, I'm not going to discuss each and everything from here because there's a foundation of time limit, and I just want to give you a brief reference of the India's energy security. So in these 5 promises that India has announced to the world, there are 2 targets, 2 goals that you should remember. First, India has said that what we are going to do, that we will ensure that by the year 2030, right, by the year 2030, 50% of India's electricity produced, 50% of India's produced power will be based upon renewable energies. And in terms of the valuation, specific valuations, India will achieve 500 gigawatt of installed renewable energy capacity by which year? By the year of 2030. So a target which in 2015 was 392 gigawatts. It was then increased at COP25, upgraded to 450 gigawatts, and which at COP26 in 2021, we upgraded to 500 gigawatts, all right, by the year 2030, which would eventually be 50% of India's overall power generation, all right. So guys, these are certain facts with respect to renewable energy that you should remember. And in this very particular thing, guys, also there is a very, very important fact that else you have to remember, that apart from this green energy corridor, one should remember about a platform or forum which again was announced by India in the year 2015 in that Paris, at that Paris summit, which we generally refer to as COP21, all right. So we announced an idea of International Solar Alliance, ISA. Now, why I'm citing this? Because International Solar Alliance is basically an idea to connect or to build up the an integrated solar power grid, okay, an integrated solar power grid between the countries falling in the tropical region. Now, what do we mean by tropical region? By the word tropical region in geography, I mean the region on planet Earth falling between Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere and up till the Tropic of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere. All right. So the idea was to include 121 countries in this particular program and campaign, and to harness the solar energy. And the goal or theme of this organization was that sun never sets. All right, sun never sets. So for this was not just announced by India, it was a campaign or an idea which was conceived by 2 countries. So it is a joint program of which 2 countries, if they ask? So please to remember, it is a joint campaign of India and France. And that's why also remember that it was in the year 2018 that United Nations Environment Program and its highest or most celebrated award, environmental award, which is known as the Champions of Earth award. This award was given to our Prime Minister. Okay. So Champions of the Earth award, Indian Prime Minister backed in which year? Just remember the year. The year was 2018 because of the idea that was International Solar Alliance. So guys, as a part of this, why I am telling you this here, because you must remember that recently United Nations Organization, all right. Okay. So recently, you must remember, United Nations Organization has given observer status. Just remember this fact, very, very important fact. Observer status, okay? Observer status to International Solar Alliance, which is headquartered where? Which is headquartered at Gurugram. This is headquartered at Gurugram. And if they ask you how many countries have signed this agreement or plan, what we are, or the organization what we are referring to as International Solar Alliance. So guys, just remember two facts: 86 countries and 106 countries. Just remember these two numbers. 106 countries have signed, they have signed this agreement, and out of 106, 86 have ratified this agreement. What is the difference between signing and ratification? Well guys, when a country signs on the formal declaration of an organization and it accepts the idea or goal of that organization, that particular process is called as signing. So ISA has been signed and given in principle approval by how many countries? The answer will be 106. But an obligation of that signing of that particular organization is that that particular country then should legislate or form legislations on the idea or to enforce the idea of that particular organization. So there are 86 countries which have introduced the legislations through their national parliaments to enforce the idea of this particular organization. So just remember, so that particular process is called as what? Ratification. Okay, so 106 countries are the signatories of ISA and 86 countries are the ratifiers of this particular agreement. So why all of this becomes important? Because of this fact, guys, that United Nations organization has recently given observer status to ISA. Also, why this is important? Because in that COP26 summit of 2021, in that COP26 summit of 2021, United Kingdom partnered with India to help India in developing the first plan under ISA's framework. What is that plan? That plan is called as OSOWOG. That plan is called as OSOWOG. What is OSOWOG? OSOWOG is called as One Sun, One World and One Grid. Okay, One Sun, One World and One Grid. United Kingdom has now given a new name to this campaign and it has now called this as Green Grid. So if they ask you which of the following countries has coined the term Green Grid or given the name Green Grid to OSOWOG, answer will be UK. So United Kingdom will be providing the technology to achieve the idea of OSOWOG. What is this OSOWOG? OSOWOG is that plan to integrate or to develop an integrated solar grid in the International Solar Alliance countries. Okay, so this particular plan was to be implemented in 3 phases. In the first phase of OSOWOG, or now what we are generally referring to as Green Grid, the region of Middle East, what we generally refer to as, in short, ME, okay, Middle East. Then the region number 2, that is South Asia, SA. And then the region number 3, that is Southeast Asia, SEA. Okay. In the first phase, Middle East will be connected with the South Asia and South Asia will be connected with Southeast Asia. So an integrated solar energy grid will be connected or developed across these 3 regions. This is phase 1. When this will be completed, phase 2 will be launched. What is phase 2? In phase 2, the International Solar Alliance planned that to these 3 regions, the region of Africa will be connected. Region of Africa will be connected. And then after the completion of phase 2, this whole plan or platform in the 3rd phase will become global. Now, what do you mean by it will become global? It simply means then any country beyond these 4 regions, that is Middle East, South Asia, Southeast Asia and Africa, if they want to join this campaign or plan, they are most welcome. All right. But the most important fact over here was, howsoever great idea this was, this idea had 2 very important challenges. Number 1 was the technology to integrate this complicated and complex idea of integrated solar grid across these many countries. And then the second biggest challenge was of funding. So United Kingdom has stepped forward in COP26 of UNFCCC that happened in last year, and it has said that the funding and technology will be contributed by the government of UK. Why UK said this? Because you must also remember that United Kingdom, guys, is that country which was the first country in the world to declare something called as what? Something called as climate emergency. This is the first country of the world which declared climate emergency, an idea, a type of emergency which has now been declared by more than 60 plus countries of the world. All right. So this is a bit of the facts that you should remember when it comes to energy security of India and when it comes to renewable energy ka premise. All right. Okay. So now let's come to, until that idea of renewable energy or goals of renewable energy or this campaign of also walk, such kind of initiatives do not reach their logical conclusion, the Indian economy will be in the need of fossil fuels, that is crude oil and natural gas. But the problem is, guys, for the crude oil and natural gas, India directly depends upon which countries? India, you must be knowing, directly depends upon region number 1, what we refer generally to as Middle East, right? The region of Middle East, and most importantly, an organization which is known as OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. But the problem is that in Middle East, there is always one or other war happening. Like Yemen war is still going on. Okay, Yemen civil war is still going on. Then there was war in Syria, war in Iraq. All right. Then there is this Iran ka issue. So there are multiple issues in Middle East which makes our fuel supply very, very disruptive sometimes. All right. So India identified a plan B or a region or a second region which can complement this, the supplies or India's energy security. That region is which region, guys? Central Asia. Very important. Please do remember. Central Asia is the alternative of India's fossil fuel supplies. Where is Central Asia? So guys, basically Central Asia is this part of the world where one can find the countries like Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and hence there is an organization that you must be knowing of which is called as Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Very important. Shanghai Cooperation Organization. In short, what we generally refer to as SCO. Okay. In general, what we refer to as SCO. Now, you must be knowing this fact that in this platform, India joined or India secured membership alongside Pakistan. Okay. We joined this platform with Pakistan, which is the most recent member of SCO. Well, the answer to that question is Iran. Okay. So, why did India join a group or organization which is dominated by China and Russia? Well, the reason is the countries like Uzbekistan. Okay. Now, let me list those countries. The countries like Uzbekistan. Okay. The countries like Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. The countries which India basically wants to make an engagement in SCO. So these are those countries, guys, which have substantial amount of oil, also substantial amount of natural gas, but these are not the members of OPEC. Instead, they are the members of something called as OPEC plus. Okay. This is your first homework. Just go and refer to what is OPEC plus, which was an outcome of Vienna Declaration. Vienna Declaration of the year 2016. Now let me just give you a very interesting fact. Which is that event if after 2014, if somebody asks you, which is that event after the year of 2014, the year in which Russia occupied Crimea, okay? Russia occupied Crimea. So of that year, Crimea from Ukraine, which is that event if it did not happen, or if we could go into the past and could have changed that event, so we could prevent this Russia-Ukraine war. Which is that event? Guys, the answer to that is this Vienna Declaration of the year 2016. हम रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर को प्रिवेंट कर सकते थे अगर वियना डिक्लेरेशन 2016 में साइन नहीं होता और ये ओपेक प्लस नहीं बनता. ऐसा मैं क्यों बोल रहा हूं? बिकॉज आफ्टर द एनेक्सेशन ऑफ क्रीमिया बाय रशिया इन यू कैन से 2014 फ्रॉम यूक्रेन, the group of 8 most advanced economies, they placed economic sanctions and trade embargo on Russia, as an outcome of which G8 became G7 and Russian economy began or entered into a what you can say a regressional phase. All right, so its economy was going down year after year, and hence was the popularity of Vladimir Putin, which was also going down. His approval rate was going down, and it became very, very important for Vladimir Putin to win the presidential elections in Russia way back in the year March 2018. Okay, so in March 2018, it is believed by you can say by the diplomatic experts that to win this particular election, Vladimir Putin wanted to create a feel-good factor in Russian economy, because the Russian companies were losing their markets, and then there were more number of people day by day, month by month, who were becoming unemployed. Okay. Now, how to create that feel-good factor? To create that feel-good factor, Russia with Saudi Arabia formed an alliance known as OPEC plus. Now it is a very, very strange exercise. That's why it is said, see, in normal circumstances, Russia and Saudi Arab cannot become friends. They cannot be a part of such a group. Why? Because Saudi Arab is an ally of US, which is an enemy of Russia, and Russia's biggest ally in you can say in Middle East is which country? That country is Iran, which is the rival country of Saudi Arab, right? तो ऐसा क्यों हुआ? क्यों रशिया और सऊदी अरब ने अलायंस बनाया? ये अलायंस बनाया बिकॉज यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका की जो ऑयल कंपनीज है, दैट इज दोस शेल ऑयल कंपनीज, उनका मार्केट वाज एक्सपैंडिंग, एंड दैट मार्केट, the expansion of the US oil companies market was threatening the you can say market of the OPEC countries. So Russia with 10 other countries did what? It signed Vienna Declaration and formed a group with 13 OPEC countries known as OPEC plus, in turn whose membership went to 23. And in oil companies and in oil producing economies ने मिलकर you can say price war start कर दिया with United States of America. So basically Russia's oil and gas companies got a platform of OPEC's market, which actually you can say allowed huge amount of revenues to the oil and gas companies inside Russia, and through which Russia could create, the president or the government of Russia could actually create a feel-good factor in their economy, and as a direct outcome of which, in this March 2018 ka presidential election, Vladimir Putin managed to win this particular election, and then you know that through the amendment, now he will remain as the lifetime president as till his discretion. Okay, सो अगर ये ओपेक प्लस नहीं बनता, ये वियना डिक्लेरेशन नहीं होता, ओपेक प्लस नहीं बनता, रशियन इकोनॉमी में फील गुड फैक्टर नहीं होता, तो 2018 में व्लादिमीर पुतिन could not have managed to win those elections. And if Vladimir Putin would not have been the president of Russia, then this war could have been prevented. All right. What else I would like to add over here, why I'm telling you all of this, because of the background of background of the Russia-Ukraine war, which is generally not popular and which is, but still it is relevant for our exam. What else you should remember from here? That about a person known as Alexei Navalny. Hope so you must have heard about this. If not, this is homework number 2. Do read about this man. Who is this man? This is the biggest opposition leader of Vladimir Putin, who was detained, also who was, there is an allegation on Vladimir Putin to poison him, but still he survived, and he is outrightly, you can say, vocal about the policies of Russia, including this ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. And given that fact, this leader was given the most prestigious, you can say, most prestigious, one of the most prestigious award by European Union, and that award we generally call as the Sakharov Prize. Do remember, Sakharov Prize, very important prize, a prize which was, when it was inaugurated, was given to Nelson Mandela. Okay, so just remember that this year Sakharov Prize has been given to Alexei Navalny, who is the biggest opposition leader of Vladimir Putin. All right, so this is the region which we generally refer to as Central Asia. All right, now let's come back to this. And these countries have fossil fuels also. Just focus on this country, and this country is Kazakhstan. This is the most important country for India's energy security because it has oil, it has gas. Also, you should remember that it is the largest exporter of uranium in the world. And itni badi economy mein, if we want to reduce the dependency on the fossil fuel, and if we want to switch on the renewable energy, and if we want to not compromise with the industrialization of India, the key to that is nuclear energy. All right. So that's why India joined this particular platform of SCO, and that's why India recently conducted the first India Central Asia Summit in 2022. Why? Because of this ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. There is one very important, you can say, issue, or India's national interest is being harmed, and that particular issue is a very important project that I think is the right moment that I should try and tell you about. Okay, which is, let me just quickly tell you or show you, if I can, about a very important project which is this particular project. What is this project about? That in order to target the trade in this particular region, what we generally refer to as what? The region of Central Asia. Okay, the region of Central Asia. Let me just mark the region for you. Yes, this is that region which we generally refer to as Central Asia. Now the problem is that we want to have oil, gas, nuclear energy, and it is a good market for India's merchandise goods, plus also most of these countries are the desert countries, so this also becomes a good market for India's agricultural exports. All right, but the problem is connectivity. How India is going to connect with this particular region, because the problem is, to reach this region we need access from Pakistan and Afghanistan. All right, so Pakistan is not going to give us any such kind of access. Also, Afghanistan is now re-Talibanized, so that option is also gone. That's why India and Russia, because Russia also wants the access to this South Asian market, through this particular region, because the existing route is where? The existing route is, guys, very lengthy route. It is through this Strait of Bab el Mandab. Through this Suez Canal, we reach Mediterranean Sea, then to Strait of Gibraltar, we enter to Baltic Sea, and through Baltic Sea, then we reach Russia, and from Russia, then we can reach the Central Asian region. This is a very lengthy route, which makes trade very, very incompetitive, and that's why India and Russia both were trying to find an alternative to this. So guys, what happened? What you have to remember, an agreement you have to remember, the Ashgabat Agreement, very important. Ashgabat Agreement. What is this Ashgabat Agreement? This Ashgabat Agreement is that agreement, the outcome of which is a very ambitious project, very ambitious connectivity project, which is generally referred to as, guys, INSTC, International North-South Transport Corridor. What is the national interest of India which is being harmed in this ongoing Russia-Ukraine crisis? It is this particular project. This particular project was getting delayed and delayed, but recently a good news came that through this particular project, now India gets connected to Russia. Okay, this project more or less is towards the verge of its completion. So International North-South Transport Corridor, what is the idea about? The idea is to connect the port city of Mumbai through this Chabahar or this Bandar Abbas port via Iran, and then we can enter where? Then we can enter through the Caspian Sea route, or the city of Baku, or through the city of what you call as Astrakhan, and then we can reach where? We can reach Moscow, and from Moscow also we can reach the topmost city which in plan is going to be connected under this project inside Russia, and that is St. Petersburg. All right. So remember, I also talked about or mentioned a declaration called as St. Petersburg Declaration, not to be confused with this project. Okay. So in INSTC, we are going to connect this Mumbai till Moscow through the Central Asian region, a multimodal connectivity corridor, a corridor which will have railway corridor, road connectivity, all right, water-based connectivity, and it will reach first to Moscow and then it will be extended to St. Petersburg. This will give an advantage to Russia also to have a shortest possible trade route with South Asia and Central Asia. In reciprocity, India will also get benefited from this, and most importantly, yes, Central Asia is also going to be benefited from this particular project. So guys, very, very important project. Just remember about this. Now coming back to that summits and its outcome. Let's get back to this. So guys, Russia is very, very important for us. Russia is very, very important for us also when it comes to you can say energy. So India and Russia have robust and growing bilateral energy cooperation, which is a key pillar of special and privileged strategic partnership. All right. Then also you must remember, Russia is the largest investment destination for Indian oil and gas companies. All right. Like Indian public sector companies have made investment in Russia of about $16 billion, including in the Far East assets like Sakhalin-1 project, Vankor, and TAS Yuryak project. Now, you don't have to remember this project, just you have to remember from here that Russia is the largest investment destination for Indian oil and gas companies, and that's why this particular summit, which is Eastern Economic Forum Summit, is very, 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 very important. All right, so just remember that particular summit.